And we're back. Oh, actually, we didn't go anywhere. We're just starting right now, so you haven't missed a thing. I'm Jason Mink, and you're having a drink with Mink. I'm having this drink with Mike Jones. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks for having me, Jason. Excited to finally be here at the studio.
It's a great pleasure to have you here at the studio.
It's a beautiful place you got here.
We do our best. We do our best. We make it a point to surround it with lots of old paper, so it's highly flammable. In the event that you know, something were to happen, we'd go up with the goods. You know,
it's also an honor to meet your crack staff. I met Larry. Nice to see Larry here, and the rest of the people that are here. So big production, and just we're happy to be here.
Welcome aboard. All right, so right off the bat, tell us a little bit about yourself, Mike, as far as being an old guy who likes old comics. What's your story?
Well, I guess I would be an old guy.
You don't have to be.
No, you don't have to be, but I started kind of late, I guess, collecting comics as a kid. I found somehow a Jimmy Olsen comic in our basement. I have no idea how it got there. With a Scooby-Doo, and I read the Jimmy Olsen, but I got to backtrack to probably elementary school. I got to see a comic for the first time, and for me it looked confusing. I remember dark colors. I couldn't really comprehend the story. I think it was like an X-Men or something. You know?
Right.
And so it just wasn't what I thought. But the Jimmy Olsen, now the story was contained in one issue.
Right.
It was very colorful. It was bright. You know, it was very simple.
Right.
I thought, well, that's kind of, yeah.
Sort of written
that's
directly to the reader.
And if you remember which one it was, I don't know if you remember, Jimmy Olsen was a hippie. And they were pummeling Superman with garbage or something.
Yeah.
It was like a hate in or a down with
right,
Superman.
Yeah, the Jimmy Olsen's hippie hate in,
Exactly.
right?
So, that was my introduction.
Jimmy!
And so I used to go across into town.
Z.
About a mile into town to the chocolate shop, and they had a spinner rack, and I started buying them back in probably '78.
Oh, right on, right on.
And then I couldn't get enough of them.
Right, copy that,
And
copy that.
And luckily, the guy down the street was older than me, and he had a collection he was trying to get rid of. You know, he didn't want anybody to know that he was a comic book collector.
Right.
So I was able to get a lot of old comics from him. That my friend and competitor, who you know, Todd Higgins,
Higgins!
we were always battling on getting those from our friend Mike Myers, and so I was able to get Giant Size X-Men #1 from him. Paid less than cover price for it. And
nice.
Amazing Spider-Man 129.
Fantastic.
A couple, you know, he did not have Hulk 181 though, so.
Right.
But he filled, and he did not take really good care of his comics either. They were pretty well beat up, but they were my introduction.
Right on.
And then of course your reprints going through. Remember the little books that came in like this?
Yeah.
I could not see the print now if I, you know,
yeah, absolutely.
magnifying glass. And then now on the other spectrum, the big Treasury edition, which
right.
You've got a nice collection of those.
Yeah, a few.
So,
a few.
and then you acquired those comics, and then the 90s hit, and we know what that was like.
Oh yeah.
And so they flooded the market with them.
Glossy nightmare, a glossy holofoil gate.
Take a long box full
nightmare.
of bronze comics and a box full of Image comics, and watch your back go out on the Image comics because
right.
they're real heavy. But so everything got put in the attic and forgotten.
Oh.
Till the movies came out and this, that, and the other thing, and everyone was talking about first appearances, and I said, I wonder if I have that. And I couldn't remember what I had.
Right,
So I
right.
would start going through comics and say, oh, I do have that, or oh, I missed that, or. So I got back into it. I never wanted to get on Facebook. My wife was always, get on Facebook, get on Facebook. No, I don't want to get on Facebook because I'll get addicted to it. And
right.
I got on Facebook, and that's how I met this guy here. So that's kind of the down and dirty.
Right on, right on.
It was a little bit.
It was
Not as down, but.
right. Well, it was great to have met you through Facebook because, you know, I would talk to various people. People would join the group. I communicate with them for a little while, and then they would just sort of abruptly disappear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's kind of the nature of social media a lot of the time is, you know, you'll be interacting with someone, kind of have a rapport, you think, oh man, if this guy was around, I'd like to hang out with this guy, have a drink with this guy. You know, but they would sort of fade into the vapor, and you contacted me, you joined the group, and then you contacted me almost out of the blue, and you said, hey, I like your group, and this is just my remembrance.
Don't quote him.
And can I be the official, can I produce the official comic for old guys who like old comics. I produce a comic, it's called Yeet, and I'll send you a copy. And you sent me a copy. Here's the introductory picture here. And I was like, yes, of course you can be the official comic of old guys who
comic
like
like
old comics.
that, yeah.
Right, well, it was more of just like, it was cool to be thought of in that way. And it was because I always felt that, it was a community building thing. From the moment I started the group, it was all about, reaching out to people through the internet. I'm not necessarily in a position to talk to each and every person who loves old comic books, but everyone goes on their phone, everyone goes on their
Sure.
computer or their TV or, their Cyberlink. Sorry, I was on the beach for a minute. And, as far as that goes, to be able to say, hey, here's a place, virtual clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Old Guys Who Like Old Comics. Come on in, have a drink, have a smoke, have a wink and a joke. Just let's talk about the things that we love.
And you see things that you think you've seen it all, and then somebody would post something. It's like, wow, I did not know that existed.
Yeah,
and you have to go out and do that. But I think I was like any other kid. When anyone who's involved in comics, you either want to write or draw for Marvel.
Right.
Or DC.
Yeah.
You want to be the next
absolutely.
Stan Lee or Jack Kirby, so you start drawing and writing stories. You come up with your own stories, and you take typewriter paper and you make you fold it in half, and you got yourself a little book, and that's kind of how everybody did it. Nobody
Right.
really knows how to make a comic until you start studying and researching it. But and that's kind of what I always did. But it wasn't until I was a school teacher and I was an art teacher, and I got my students involved in it.
Right,
And
right on.
we were doing work, and then I was living in State College, Pennsylvania, and I came across a kid at a comic book store. He had it was just typewriter paper that he had photocopied his pencil drawings
Right.
and made the story. And his art was good, but you could barely see it because he
Yeah,
didn't ink
right,
it. He didn't even know how to
exactly.
ink it. His
Yeah.
lettering was, horrible. And I contacted him, and I inked his stuff and relettered it, and that's how we got the first
Oh, right
my
on.
first comic ever. Now,
Right.
next issue, you'll have your story in it. Number 30 is coming out.
Issue 30, that's right. It's
So-
the Comics King of Centerville. Be sure that you get your copy of it right now. In fact, here you go. We're going to tickle the balls. Tickle the balls. We're going to make the magic address appear. Make sure that you get on over to Yeet. What is it?
Yeet
Patreon?
Presents, we have a page, and then we have a group of fans of Yeet Presents where it's just kind of a free-for-all. Post whatever you want, do whatever you want.
Right,
type of thing,
right.
so.
Well, make sure you get on over to the Patreon here.
Patreon's how you subscribe and get the...
Yeah, subscribe. You'll get 30, and you'll also get some back issues.
We're kind of running out of back issues,
Right,
so
right.
they're kind of... We have some that we have a lot of, and we have some we don't have any of.
Right.
So
right.
obviously, what happened was probably 1 through 10 I did back in the 90s, and then I took a break.
I don't even have those.
And my son got interested in it about, 6 years ago.
Right,
So then we
right.
picked back up. So there's a big hiatus. So 25 years of Yeet, which was called something different, but it's kind of stretched out. But yeah, the 1 through 10, number 1, I only have one of.
I
that
stretched my hiatus out a while back. I haven't quite recovered since, to be honest.
You need a good nurse.
Yeah, I really do. If there's anybody out there who can help, please.
So that's my story. So how did you get into comic books? Everyone's got to be dying to know the Jason Mink story.
Comic books were social currency in my neighborhood. It
Ooh.
was the 1970s, and Marvel Comics was...
Where
Marvel
was
was
that?
everywhere. It was, the pop culture phenomena before Star Wars.
Mhm.
And even after Star Wars, it was the sort of thing that you could get monthly. Star Wars happened once,
Mhm.
and you could buy the action figures, and, eventually you could buy a comic book or a magazine or things, ancillary to it. But as far as the actual thing itself, Marvel Comics was a living, breathing universe by the 1970s. A lot of people don't really like what had happened to it narratively, structurally. By that point in time, they feel that its glory days were long gone. But when you're a kid, those are always the glory days of the thing that you were into. And I was really lucky because not only were there contemporary Marvel comics coming out when I was in 1977, 78, 79, when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, but all the reprints.
Oh yeah.
My thing was reprints.
Marvel Tales, yeah.
Marvel Tales,
Yeah.
Marvel Triple Action,
Yeah,
you
they're all
know.
double feature, yeah.
Marvel,
Everything you imagine. Yeah,
anything.
yeah. Greatest heroes.
They seemed to come from nowhere. You know, they were like dream comic books because you would get them, someone would have a pile of them and you'd pick them up and there'd be characters that you recognize but illustrated by artists that you weren't familiar with. Stories from 10 years ago that were incredibly compelling and may even be riffed on in stories that you read recently. And you're like, wait a minute. Squirrels don't look like that. And then you go back and you're like, oh, holy shit, you know, it's even worse. The fantastic thing about being an old guy who likes old comics in 2019 is the fact that you don't have to have old comics to enjoy old comics, thanks to Marvel Comics and their new True Believers initiative, which allows you to buy entry-level books, classic storylines featuring fantastic artwork.
And we're not getting anything from this plug.
No,
This is
we're
just,
not.
I mean, there's nothing better than that, having the actual comic. And then the next best thing would be your Marvel Tales, right?
Yeah.
Because
well,
I think having the actual comic with the ads in it and the letter page and Stan Soapbox and all that kind of stuff is tremendous. But,
right, yeah, yeah.
but
Even if I can smell a Marvel Tales, you know what I mean? It's just
smelling
like,
Tales, you gotta be, you don't want to lift it and smell it. You just want to
get in there. No, you do. You want to get in there and smell the rusty staple. Get in there
Well, we're
right
talking
up
about
to the
the-
rusty staple, kids.
I picked these up at Ides, downtown Pittsburgh.
It's in downtown
couple hours
Pittsburgh.
ago.
I think I've heard
Tickle
about
the
that
Balls
place.
again?
Tickle the balls, tickle the balls.
They are not a paid advertiser here, are they? Yet.
Not yet.
Okay, we're working
No,
on
Craig.
it. But these do not have the ads. They don't have the soapbox. They have the
Right,
they have
right.
the current ads.
Right, exactly. And computer colorization, but still
Right.
fairly faithful to the
And
originals.
it's not newsprint, but it's very colorful and
Right.
and you can read this and it's never going to be worth anything.
Oh, right
But
on.
who knows?
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
But
you know.
you can get the old Spider-Man. This one here. Ooh.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Back in the day, 101. This was 101.
Right, some
102,
Gil Kane
103.
artwork.
With the
Gil Kane Morbius, does it get any better, folks?
the 6
I
arms.
say the nay.
You know, so you get all these true believers.
Right, exactly.
then
And
you got
that's
the-
one honey of a cover right here. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing. 99 cents? Yeah. The hostage must die for 99 cents. Get this guy out of here. Oh, hey, this is nice. I haven't even seen this one. See, I remember when these first came out. This was the guy who used to draw Kinetic Kids for Crazy Magazine. Am I correct? You tell me, audience. Or you tell me, Mike.
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay,
but
you tell me, audience.
yeah. Got this one basically because it says Marvel's greatest creators.
Oh,
And amongst these are Rich Buckler, who's
Right.
from Detroit, Michigan, where I coincide, and Arvell Jones.
Arvell
Probably love that.
Jones?
Get
Hold on a
beside that.
second. You mean Arvell Jones?
Yeah. And
Arvell Jones of Mike's T-shirt fame?
might be the only time it's a wraparound cover, but it wraps around on the inside.
Right. So if you were to take that shirt off,
Yeah,
that
you see
picture
a
would be-
naked, half-naked Mike Jones.
So just keep it on.
And then there's Stormout, which we can get to that here real soon. When's the next installment of Stormout?
That would be on our big Halloween issue.
Ooh.
And I'm pretty excited about that. We've been looking forward to it for a good long time. And the story that I've written for you and Eric Salazar has drawn for you is
Beautiful stuff.
pretty tasty.
This is-
And whatever else comes, I'm not even really sure, you know, because it's still early days, folks.
Really good stuff.
All I can plug is myself.
Are you going to need number one to know what's going on in number two?
You are going to need number one,
So
and that's
should
why.
we true believe our own comics and make dollar reprints?
I don't know. Should we? You tell me,
Think
folks.
about. Something to think about. But anyways, there's other true believers. You know, here's your first appearance of the Punisher, and then probably one of the ugliest covers of all time.
Ah,
The
yes.
last issue of Star Wars. Why they would reprint this?
Well,
Or,
the
I
thing
mean,
is,
it's not like
that's a real hard book to get a hold of.
I know, but it's not like Star Wars was new and they didn't know what Chewbacca looked like. He didn't look like
Right.
Heathcliff.
Well, I mean, what's going on with R2 there? That looks like some kind of... He doesn't look like a droid, he looks like a marital aid. You know what I mean? It's like RBUTTPLUG2.
What's going on with the pink shirt and the wraparound cover there? Anyhow, those are the true believers, and that's kind of... we're not plugging it, we're just saying, you know, they're not old comics, but they actually are old comics. Past the kid's bedside. But anyways, that's the true believers.
It sure is. What else do we have, Mike?
The only other thing I want to plug is I've become...
You're plugging stuff?
I think that's why I'm here, right? Hey, Johnny Carson...
Distasteful.
When the celebrities came on, they weren't on there just to see Johnny. They had a movie coming out. They're always plugging things, right?
That's
so
true.
I will come back.
So Mike Jones in Smokey and the Bandit #6. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes,
Mike.
it's a great... I mean, I loved all the people. They're all geniuses.
I want to be
That
your
director
Dom
was a
DeLuise
genius.
in
Yes.
7. What's that, Larry?
Go ahead. Okay, Larry, thanks. Okay, so I was talking about Bill Lobes. I met Bill 10 years ago.
Larry.
Sorry, Larry.
Bill!
And we become really good friends. And the more I know him, and the more I help him out, and the more he helps me out, and we get to know each other, the guy just did some amazing stuff. I mean, his resume it's never ending. I found, and I just posted this recently, I'm in a storage unit because we kind of move stuff around for him, and he's got a FedEx box in there.
Right.
And I'm like, Bill, what's in the FedEx box? Bill's like, I don't know. I said, can I look? Sure. And he's got 130 pages of finished original art of his autobiography that he had done for Vertigo of DC.
Wow.
And he was polishing it off when Vertigo went under.
Yes, exactly. The now lamented.
And so
Vertigo.
now we got a stack of original art for
Right.
one thing, but the story needs to be told.
Right.
Anyway, I didn't know it existed, you know. And the stuff that he does, and Bill's fallen on hard times, and he's trying to get above water, and it's hard to do because he works, and it's real difficult for him to get going. So there's a lot of fundraisers thing, and one of them was, and I had nothing to do with this, but a group of guys and I think in the Michigan area put together a benefit book for him. And so I donated to it, and they sent me 2 of them, so of course I'm gonna auction one off, had Bill sign it. And Sean, I don't know if he wants me to tell his whole name, but Sean was the high bidder on this, and we really appreciate that type of stuff. We've got more, and from that, more people are donating things to me. Hey, to help out Bill. I've got an oil painting from Clayton, a Batman, that is tremendous.
Right, exactly. Let's
And
take a moment. We're going to drop that in right now.
It's just a gorgeous piece of artwork.
Right.
And to watch the YouTube videos, which we'll be posting of him working on it, took him a long time. It's an oil painting.
Right, absolutely.
It's a tremendous piece of artwork. So we're trying to figure out the best way to get the most bang for the buck. Because we
Right.
know there's collectors out there. It's Batman. Batman's huge. It's an oil painting of Batman. It's a recreation of a Bob Kane cover. It's just tremendous piece of artwork. So we're going to try to help Bill out. But in the meantime, Bill's, he's doing his own thing. He's working for Yeet. He's doing some stuff for us there.
Cheers, Yeet.
We have his own.
Cheers, Bill.
We have his own. Tickle him once again, fans of William Mesner Loeb's.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Okay.
Make sure you check that out as well. Well worth your time.
He's working with Amy Chu on a new Kiss. Kiss is, the band Kiss is doing their final tour. We know how those go. It's called Kiss the End. He's, end of what? I don't know what you want to kiss,
Right,
but at the end of something you want to kiss it. And he's working with Amy Chu on that, so look that up. It's all on there. And just a great guy, and we just like to help Bill out. He's great.
Right.
We're hoping he's going to do more stuff for Yeet.
Right, yes,
right?
absolutely.
And do some writing for us there.
What are the odds of seeing the story, the autobiography?
I think it's his.
Right.
It's like Journey, the Wolverine McAllister stuff. That belongs to him.
Right, exactly.
He did 2 issues of War Drums, which was the continuing story after Journey. Number 3, he's got almost completely done except for 2 or 3 pages.
Right.
Who's going to print that?
Right.
My problem is, and the fans out there, is just distribution. Do you have to go with Diamond? Where do we get these comic books that we're making out to the mainstream?
Right.
Walmart?
Yeah, well, it's very difficult because you and I have actually gone and put Yeats
In Walmart.
in Target was what it was. We loaded up a Target kiosk. We'll show you that picture right now. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a look. Speaking of Yeet, how about that? We're going to take a look at the latest Yeet. We got it right here. And, yeah, when I saw the cover, I was actually super excited about it. I feel that the cover has a lot of punch. You know, it's just like, it looks like the sort of book that you would have seen on the newsstand in the 1980s that would have just grabbed you instantly. There's some drama, there's some pathos, and looking forward to checking out the book. Now, what is different about this particular issue of E as opposed to previous issues?
Well, the cover is by Kent Clark, not Clark Kent, but Kent Clark has become one of our cadre of creators, I like to call them.
Right.
And he's doing Guardians of the Blue, which is a pretty long running title in Yeet. I can't remember how many it's been on. I think it started in number 16, and this is number 29.
Right.
So it's the difference is we went with Clark's. I mean, he's really, or Kent Clark is really. I mean, his inks are really nice, very old style.
Right.
It's on newsprint. We went with a different printer, and the reason it took some time for it to come out is they had different requirements.
Oh, nice.
And so Yeet's always been in black and white, but this one on newsprint is the first time, and some of it's black and white, we got color. Okay, and Brian Cole helped us out on doing some of the lettering, doing some of the coloring, doing some of the stories. So it's got 3 stories in there. They're all, we got a jungle story, we've got a superhero story, and we've got sort of a borderline horror story called The Candleman, which is just phenomenal. I mean, but we made this as an experiment, so we weren't going to get a whole lot of stories involved in it. So it's a little bit shorter than normal. Yeet sometimes runs up to 64 pages, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But this one's 3 stories.
Hefty books for sure.
It's still 40 pages or so. You know, we have our newsletter, we have everything else, and it's not a flip book because we didn't want to confuse the new printer on the flip book.
Right,
that can get confusing. And we got a little ad in the back for the Black Fury.
Coming soon, folks.
All right. And in closing,
Bill's comic. Make sure that you follow the link, get yourself a copy. Yeet, follow the link, get yourself a copy. Amazon.com.
I'd like to thank the people of
follow the link,
Coca-Cola,
get yourself a copy.
What is in your glass today?
That is a legendary question. You were supposed to interview me. You gave me like 2 questions.
Wow.
Maybe we'll do that next time.
All right. Is that it?
Should it be it? Is that enough? Have you had enough? This has been Having a Drink with Mink. He's had his drink. I'll have
done.
mine.
See you later. Sayonara.